What is community? Community is something that everyone, no matter who they are, what vocation they have in life, how much they have or don't have, community is something that everyone needs desperately. It's something that, because we are made in the image of a God who has had community among himself between the Father, the Son, and the Spirit for eternity, because we are made in his image, community is something that we desperately need. I mean, look at the biblical story, how it begins with Adam and Eve, and how even in a perfect garden, in a perfect creation, with a perfect relationship with the Father and the Son and the Spirit, Adam is still longing connection, community. And so God makes him a helpmate, a partner, an ezer, somebody to do life with. Community is something that when we don't have, no matter what is going right in our lives, we just don't feel together. We feel like there's something missing, like there's this gaping hole. I was thinking about David Reisman's book, The Lonely Crowd. It's said to be the most influential book in the 20th century. Reisman was a sociologist at Harvard, and in that book he kind of diagrammed and laid out what had happened in this new middle class that was arising in America in the 70s, and how that middle class would lead to a lonely crowd. And that's what we have today. You think about Jean Twenge, his book Generation Me. It's all about how we are more self-entitled and we have more today than we have ever had, and yet we feel so lonely and so empty and so void of meaning and significance. You think about David Putnam's book, Bowling Alone, the decline and rise of American community, and the absence of porches in our neighborhoods, and what that says with human sociology, and just how we have abandoned community. We hide on porches in the backside of our houses now and grill, versus having a front porch where people could walk by and start a conversation. We need community. Because of the fall, community is not what it should be. We're desperate for it, we're longing for it. So what is community? Community is sharing a story together and having that story help us identify who we are, identify what's going on in our world, what's wrong with it, and where our world and our life is headed. As believers, as Christians, we have that story in the gospel, in Jesus Christ. And you see Paul using that in Philippians 2, 6-11, where he points these two women that are feuding in the church at Philippi, Euodia and Syntyche. He points them to the story of Christ and says, let that story be yours. And so community is having a story together, a narrative of a scoping narrative of the world, of our lives, and sharing it. And yet there's diversity, right? Every one of us that believes the gospel has a different story. And so there's diversity and unity of story, and we share that together. Community is sharing life together. That means connecting on a frequent basis. That means being with each other through those major life moments. Perhaps the greatest metaphor or example of community is a family. We share life together with our family more than anyone else. That kind of creates the norm of how we're to understand community outside of us. And if our family story is broken, of course how we understand relationship and connection is broken. And so every one of us needs a group of people that we can share life with, that we can celebrate life with, that we can grieve life with, a people where joy and sorrow meet together, and they're treated genuinely. And so community is sharing life together. You think about the book of Acts, Acts 2:42, where Luke is talking about the early church's community. He's summarizing the movement of God as the church grows and expands, and he says this is what it looks like, and it's rich community. The last thing to me that community means is it means sharing a mission together. It's not enough to share a story. It's not enough to share life. We have to share a mission together. We have to share a purpose, a direction, an orientation, something that we are trying to create and do in this world together for the sake and glory of God. Think about John 20:21, where the Son says to his apostles as he's getting ready to leave, as the Father has sent me, so I am sending you. That should be a major orientation kind of message for us as people. We need to share a mission together, something we are pursuing, something we're trying to do together. To me, that is community. Sharing the story, the gospel of Jesus Christ as our identity together. Sharing life together, serving one another, being hospitable, being generous, welcoming, sacrificing, laying ourselves down. That is community. And sharing a mission, pursuing God's glory, God's wholeness and abundance in our community, in our relationships, in our neighborhoods, in our places of work, together, sharing the stories, the journey of that kind of sojourn together, that mission, that is community.